Teenage acne. It's so unfair that you should have acne right at a time during your teens when things can be tough enough already. I remember that people would stare at my chin whenever I was a teenager. Instead of looking at me in the eye, it was so humiliating. What is acne? Well, there's four main stages to the formation of acne. First of all, the oily glands increase the amount of grease and sebum they produce. These then get blocked and form comedones, which are the whiteheads and the blackheads. Then harmful bacteria gets in, and then inflammation ensues after that. The acne spots can increase in number, get bigger and deeper and more painful with more and more bacteria and the more inflammation that you have. The main cause is hormonal, as there's a spike in the androgen levels in both boys and girls during your teens. Now, there are some specific conditions where acne is more likely due to things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, but this is quite rare compared to the reason why most people get them. So blood tests for most people aren't really needed. Yes, acne runs in families and there's a real strong hereditary component, but don't think that that means you can't do anything about it due to it being in your genes. So we do have some control over our health, and that includes acne. Before we go through all the different lifestyle behaviours, I do need to say that some people will still get acne and it can be quite bad even despite all their good behaviours and habits. Some people still require medical help with prescription drugs, and we'll talk about those prescription treatments at the end of the video. So the age-old question, does diet affect acne? Well, the simple answer is yes. Personally, I knew from making my own lifestyle changes about 10 years ago, I was able to heal my acne, and I was in my late 30s at that stage. So let's go through some of the recent evidence on this. So if we type in here, diet and acne, we come up with this study only released last year. Now, this is a systematic review, and that's really the top dog of all the evidence because it's put together lots of other studies done over the years and looked to see what was the answer at the end of the day. And no, I didn't just Google it. When you're searching online, it's important to know the really good sources of information that you can really take and know that they're true, rather than finding things from influencers and social medias. We could talk about that again another time. This systematic review showed that sugary foods and high amounts of carbohydrates can make acne worse. Also recommended is that people with acne can have a trial of dairy products, but you need to do it for a month or 6 weeks before you can tell, and it's not going to help everyone. Let's look at stress now. According to the American Academy of Dermatology Association, stress doesn't cause acne, but it might worsen it if it already exists. Now, I have to point out here that this is a two-way street. Stress can make acne worse, and worse acne can lead to more stress and even depression, anxiety and social isolation. Let's look at a study here now done in Singapore a few years ago, which looked at teenagers' acne to see if the stress of the exams caused this extra oil or sebum in the skin. And what they found was that the acne did get worse during the stress of exams, but it wasn't due to excess oil being made, but it was due to inflammation. So we need to look at ways to reduce our stress levels, such as practicing techniques of mindfulness, meditation, making sure your sleep's good, as well as diet, physical activities. Next up, we have sleep. Good sleep helps us manage our stress as well, and it's in the deep part of sleep, the deep sleep cycle, that we release growth hormone that helps us to heal and repair. So getting good quality sleep is essential. Now, I've already made a whole video on that, and I'll link it somewhere around here so that you can have a look at that after you finish this video. Next up, I want to talk about smoking. Now, we know cigarette smoking can cause acne and make acne worse, but what about e-cigarettes and vaping? Well, to be honest, the evidence for the relationship between e-cigarettes and skin disorders is still growing. It takes time for a lot of this evidence to emerge, just as it took years for doctors to notice that cigarette smoking was harmful. It's going to take a long time for the science to show the harms. I'd rather not wait on all that evidence coming in because it might be too late. Here's some specific tips to improving your acne. Stop popping, squeezing, exfoliating, rubbing and scrubbing your zits and spots, as this can cause more inflammation, just making your spots worse and leads to worse scarring. The next one is about cleansers. Now, cleansers can be very useful, but don't overdo it with the cleansers. They help remove the oil, the sunscreen, any makeup and build up of pollutants on your skin, but you can't overdo it, and that can strip away the natural defenses and interrupt the normal skin biome, all those good bacteria on the skin. If you did find your skin was really oily, I do recommend a gentle oil-free cleanser in the evening time. You don't have to do it even every evening, even a few times a week may be enough for your skin type. Here's a weird one that some people find hard to really get their heads around. Acne causes greasy skin, but then you can also be dry. And one of the problems is the barrier of the skin can get a bit worn down. So it's important to moisturize as well. And that's why you should also use an oil-free or a moisturizer for acne-prone skin in the evening after cleansing. Here's a few products that I recommend. One called Cetaphil. They've got the moisturizer and the cleanser, and it says on it non-comedogenic. You need to look for those on the label. It can say non-comedogenic or for acne-prone skin. Now they're very reasonably priced and very good. We also have a good range by CeraVe. They have a new product, Blemish Control Cleanser, very good as well. This one by CeraVe is an AM one. It's also got sun protection factor in it, so it's a very useful one to have in the morning because it's your sun protection and your moisturizer all in one. Altruist make a face fluid that also has a good moisturizer and sun protection in it as well. And then La Roche make a great product called Effaclar. I bought all these things. There's no sponsorship here in this video. You don't need to spend a lot of money on expensive cleansers. These ones will work very well. In the morning, all you need is your sun protection. In the evening, you may decide to cleanse and then moisturize after that. And then this is the time to apply any prescription creams that you have been prescribed by your doctor. So when you've nailed your diet, your sleep, your stress, your exercise, you're using gentle cleansers, SPF and appropriate moisturizers, and you're not squeezing, exfoliating or rubbing your spots, and you're still getting acne coming through and you want something done, this is the time then to look for other treatments. Before we get to the prescriptions, there are a couple of options that you may like to investigate. One option is the use of LED light treatments. These can be very useful, but they require regular treatments and can be a bit inconvenient to maintain that. You can buy some products online, but they don't tend to be that great quality. Hopefully in the future, there may be topical probiotics that will be able to help as well. They're currently undergoing trial. Now let's talk about prescription treatments. This includes prescription creams, including salicylic acids, benzyl peroxide, antibiotics, and retinoids. Retinoids are a type of vitamin A, and they are very useful in acne treatment. Next up is oral antibiotics, but they need to be taken for at least 3 months and they can have a harmful effect on the gut microbiome. These long duration of antibiotics can also lead to antibiotic resistance. For some people with specific hormonal issues, spironolactone can also be a useful treatment. And then for more severe acne or acne not responding to the other treatments, there's an oral form of that retinoid, that vitamin A that I mentioned earlier, and it's known as isotretinoin, and it's available in different parts of the world as Accutane or Roaccutane. Now, it can have more side effects than the other treatments and requires blood monitoring and pregnancy testing, but it's a very effective and useful option for the right person. So in some closing thoughts here, the main takeaway here is that although acne does have a strong family association, the study of epigenetics tells us that we have control over our ability to heal and reduce the acne. As inflammation is a big part of acne, anything that we can do to reduce inflammation is going to help heal our acne, and that includes the dietary measures such as cutting back on sugar and carbohydrates and having a 4 to 6 week trial with no dairy. The next one is managing your stress levels and then making sure that you're getting high quality sleep. Don't smoke or vape. Remain physically fit and active, as this also lowers hormonal factors which cause stress. However, despite all these good habits, some people still develop acne which requires medical management with prescription drugs, as I've described above. It's also important to note that any treatment you start on needs time to work, at least 8 weeks. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in the short term, but they underestimate what they can do longer term, and that goes for lifestyle behaviours as well as the prescription medications. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more, put up a video link to my sleep video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Yours in health.